3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri is about injustice, but with a twist. There's one small, teeny spoiler ahead. This information is revealed early on in the movie, so I don't think it will affect your viewing pleasure, but if you want to watch the movie in its pristine state, then please pause this video and watch it first.
Ain't life crazy?
Mildred's just lost her daughter to a brutal rape and murder, after which her body was burnt. Unfortunately, there are no clues about who did it. To protest a lack of progress in the case, she rents 3 billboards to shame the police publicly. This doesn't go down well with them, and the rest of the town. Her own son and ex-husband think she's gone too far. The scene we're going to analyze is my favorite scene, in which Captain Willoughby confronts Mildred about the billboards. I'm going to call this the before you croak scene. Willoughby drives up to her home to discuss her action. The scene is just under 3 minutes long with 23 shots, and an average shot length of 7.5 seconds. That's enough time to let ideas sink in. When you go faster than 5 seconds, you can expect a more passive audience. They decide to talk in her backyard, or some other yard, I'm not certain about the geography. There's a swing overlooking the 3 billboards. It's a peaceful, beautiful setting where the swing acts like shelter, a private cocoon. He asks her nicely to take down the billboards, but she won't budge. He joins her in the swing and notices a change from outsider to insider. On the surface, it seems he's getting close to her just to show how he's with her, and her glance shows us that she's aware of his move, for lack of a better word. But really, he's just seeking shelter in the same cocoon. He has a tough confession to make, and he wants to feel safe.
I got cancer.
I know it. Most everybody in town knows it.
And you still put up those billboards?
Well, they wouldn't be as effective after you croak, right?
Willoughby's goal in this scene was to persuade her. He tries and fails. Her goal was to stay resolute. She does that, and it's the first time we are made aware of her cold-hearted persona. The key question is, what was the purpose of this scene in the context of the movie? Is there more to the scene than what's on the surface? You bet. Mildred is tough, cold-hearted, and generally unsocial. She deserves justice, of course, but there are sections in the movie where we nearly forget that. Dixon is a violent bigot. He's exactly like her in many ways, tough, tenacious, and unafraid of the consequences of his uncontrolled aggression. There's James, who tries to hit on a grieving mother who clearly has no interest in him. And lastly, Willoughby, as good-natured as he seems, is also not beyond reproach. He ignores and even justifies racism under his watch.
You got rid of every cop with vaguely racist leanings, you'd have 3 cops left, and all of them are gonna hate them. So what are you gonna do, you know?
The fact that all these characters are morally ambiguous is only one thing common between them. The second is they're all victims of some form of injustice. Mildred loses her daughter. Willoughby is diagnosed with cancer. Dixon is not too bright and has the misfortune of having a racist mother. He's like Frankenstein, a cursed existence to himself and everyone who comes in contact with him. And James is treated like a non-entity, to put it kindly. So for me, the main theme of the movie is, do morally ambiguous people have the right to justice? What recourse do they have? And do they deserve our sympathy? Obviously, this is as tough a subject as it gets in filmmaking, and full marks to director Martin McDonagh for tackling it. To his credit, he lets the characters be and lets the story tell itself. Unfortunately, this open-endedness has resulted in a controversy about the ending. I'll address that in a separate exclusive video. I'll also publish character arcs and extra insights so you can see how and why the things that happened to the characters happened. You'll find the link for all this in the description. The bottom line is these people face injustice, but they're unlikable. Let's go over the scene again, knowing what we know. Round 2. Just prior to the scene, Willoughby acknowledges this is war. Both of them expect this confrontation sooner than later. It's his name on the billboard.
Yeah, the buck stops at Willoughby. Dead right it does.
In the shot prior to the scene, he's in darkness. There's a shadow looming over him, which we'll find out about soon. Cut to his approaching Mildred's home. The camera is placed on the inside, and we look out through the windows. She's watching his approach in silhouette. A shadow looms over her as well. It's a subtle match cut between them. It's her point of view we get first. Then we shift to his point of view. But look at the angle, it's going to be an uphill climb for him. You can almost hear Mildred whispering, "Oh, look, here he comes, he's going to be sorry he ever came." Then we move to somewhat from below eye level to eye level, and the camera tracks right. He's tentative, and this is an uncomfortable moment for him. The tracking is like the force of duty egging him on. Get it over with. This subtle tracking shot is important because it'll come back a bit later. Mildred opens the door and notices a shadow behind her. She's implacable and hard to read. She intends to make it hard for him. The over-the-shoulder shot makes it confrontational by nature. The cut to his solo shot is instructive. He's being observed. He's an outsider. She's surprised he's a bit mild. Maybe she was expecting the big guns. Her turf is her personal domain, and it overlooks the 3 billboards. She wants to remind him about it and to control the conversation. But there's something else. A common technique in filmmaking to make someone look weak or small is to take the camera higher. If you want to make someone look stronger and bigger, shoot them at a low angle. Director McDonough does this exact thing earlier in the movie. However, here, a low-angle shot makes Willoughby look weaker, the exact opposite. How the hell does that work? Is there some kind of loophole in the rule? The clue is in the background. The background has the opposite angle. If you're looking up at Willoughby, we're also looking down the road. They cancel each other out. But to really tilt the balance against him, his body language is also subjugated. He's bowing down to her. We are subconsciously aware of body language, and we know exactly what's going on here. But if that background did not contribute, the shot would be a lot less effective. Similarly, in the reverse shot, we look down on the background, but she looks up because the camera is below eye level. By the way, that's the hashtag times up look. She's in a solo shot. She stands alone. She doesn't need support. She's in her domain, totally in control. This is the shot of the movie for me. When he's done with his justification, we move to a 2-shot. They are the ends of the widescreen frame. He's clearly outside her space. Here she tells him about her idea of keeping DNA records for every male. We cut back to him over the shoulder but closer. This time there's no background to make a reference, and he does appear more powerful. Why is this important? Frankly, because our idea is a bit too extreme, and he's the voice of reason here. He knows this, and so do we. Willoughby understands reasoning is not going to work, so he tries the personal approach. He crosses over into her space and takes a seat next to her. Notice how the director lets the solo shot linger so we can catch her glance. She knows what he's trying. She's one step ahead of him. We don't know why yet, but we'll know in a few seconds. We cut to a reverse 2-shot, both of them still far apart. His move hasn't changed anything. The billboard is in the middle, still standing, with his name on it. Then she lays the haymaker.
The time it took you to get out here whining like a bitch, Willoughby. Some other poor girl's probably out there being butchered right now, but I'm glad you got your priorities straight. I'll say that for you.
This doesn't have the intended effect because he's got something else on his mind. Notice how he's hiding behind her. From far apart, now they're overlapping each other's faces. This is serious. This is personal. He makes up his mind and then the camera starts tracking left. Remember earlier when the camera tracked, goading him to go on? The same thing happens here. His consciousness moves him to confess, but it also takes him a bit further from her, when his confession should have had the opposite effect. The camera is telling us how to feel and what's coming up next. When he confesses, notice we move in slightly, emphasizing the moment. It's a slow zoom in. She already knows his secret, as does the rest of the town, and as soon as Willoughby gets that, the camera tracks further away, another force telling him what to do next. Her reverse shot shows she's still far away. His terminal illness isn't going to change anything. He's still in her cocoon, recovering. Notice the body language. He sits up straight, then she follows suit and starts swinging. Silent communication between them. If you're a human being, you know what it means. I don't have to spell it out for you. He stands and exits the cocoon. Camera tilts up so he's alone in the shot. And he walks away. The scene ends with her alone on the swing, just like she started. She accomplished her mission, and he failed. The injustice he has suffered in life won't change her, just as the injustice she suffered won't change him. They sympathize with each other. The civil conversation they just had and later scenes make that clear, but it doesn't change anything. Do they deserve our sympathy? That's between you and the movie. Each of us will feel differently depending on our outlook on the world, and it's refreshing when a movie lets us do that. If you enjoyed this video and want more, please subscribe now. After you subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell you'll see on the right so that you won't miss any new videos.
Hey, baby.